We need to talk about Sanji because things aren't looking good. It feels like people are ready to write him off and forget about him entirely. First, it was Toei Animation who started highlighting only the worst aspects of his character. Sure, this can be funny and entertaining, but it strips away the essence of who Sanji truly is, leaving us with a hollow shell of the man we were first introduced to. Take the Sanji Gunner gag. Yes, it's always been comedic and over the top in a way that fits One Piece's humor, but when they go as far as turning this man into a literal dog, barking, rolling over, and salivating at the sight of someone like Stussy, it becomes more than just a joke. It warps Sanji's image. It reduces him to a caricature, someone who can never hope to stand beside the likes of Luffy or Zoro. Ironically, this treatment sparked a different reaction in Japan. Toei's blatant bias towards Zoro, and their obvious attempts at diminishing Sanji, were so transparent that it actually backfired. Fans in Japan rallied around Sanji in response, showing him a wave of love and support so powerful that he overtook Zoro in the Japanese popularity polls, becoming the second most popular character in the series right behind Luffy. And I bring all of this up for one reason: the idea of Sanji getting a new Haki related power-up, specifically the potential awakening of Conquerors Haki. It's an idea that people are quick to dismiss without a second thought, because while it's clear that Luffy and Zoro have kingly ambitions, Luffy's dream of becoming the Pirate King, and Zoro's pursuit of being the world's strongest swordsman, Sanji's goal of the All Blue feels less grand in comparison. It lacks the tangible magnitude and it's not tied to conquest, dominance, or legacy. So I get why people question whether Sanji could ever awaken something as symbolic of a leadership and overwhelming spirit as Conquerors Haki. There's no shortage of content creators out there on YouTube and TikTok and wherever, confidently diminishing the notion.
Sanji will never get Conquerors Haki! Stop saying that Sanji and Zoro are on the same level.
And for longtime Sanji fans, it must have been absolutely gut-wrenching to watch someone like Scopper Gaban cook Sanji like Gordon Ramsay in Hell's Kitchen. Gaban tells Luffy that there's one more person on the crew with Conquerors Haki, then turns around and completely ignores Sanji, like he's some Discord mod making a cringe attempt to flirt with a supermodel. I'm looking at you, Duran. Instead, Gaban takes Zoro aside and breaks down how they can counter the Holy Knights and their regenerative abilities by advancing their Conquerors Haki, implying very clearly that Sanji doesn't even belong in the conversation. And to most people, this would feel like the final nail in the coffin, a definitive statement that Sanji is 1000% cooked. But here's the irony: that moment might be the strongest indication yet that Sanji will awaken Conquerors Haki, even by the end of Elbaf, and stand toe-to-toe with Zoro as the true wings of the Pirate King. And the groundwork has been laid out for us long before Elbaf. Really, it's been seeded ever since Sanji has been introduced. Elbaf is just where it all comes together, and the introduction of Scopper Gaban that might be the final catalyst that brings Sanji's arc in full circle, because Sanji's power has never been about brute force or ambition for glory. It starts and ends with one thing: love. Now, love has always been the foundation of Sanji's character and his power, ever since he joined the Straw Hat crew, right after he becomes part of the team, and Luffy and him head to Kokoyashi village to meet up with Zoro and confront Nami. Sanji lays his eyes on her and instantly falls in love, and this definitely rubs Zoro the wrong way, as Sanji had no context for Nami's supposed betrayal, and when Zoro lashes out at him, Sanji simply responds, "Don't you know that love is always a hurricane?" And this statement is very unique, as it's repeated several times throughout One Piece, and is apparently a famous saying from the East Blue. Some fans even attribute it to Dragon, who many theorize possess a mythical zone devil fruit that allows him to manipulate winds and storms, even creating hurricanes. And this connects because Dragon may have become a revolutionary because the world government did something to his wife. But for now, that's just an idea. But the idea of love as an unstoppable force reappears in Thriller Bark, when Sanji is stripped away from his shadow, and is implanted in a zombie due to Moria's shadow fruit. And even as a mindless shell, when his shadow sees Nami in danger, it rejects Moria's implanted commands, and the bizarre-looking zombie steps in to protect her, declaring, "There's a power that can't be measured by common sense, the power that makes the impossible possible, that blows everything over, and that name of that hurricane is love." The phrase is paraphrased again in Amazon Lily in chapter 522. Boa Hancock, the pirate empress who never lowers her gaze for any man, falls head over heels for Luffy, to the point of near death. And Elder Neon explains this is the same sickness that once afflicted the previous Kuja Empress, and who exiled herself from Amazon Lily to be with Rayleigh. And this love sickness illustrates a deeper point. Even the most powerful pirates are vulnerable to love. It influences their actions and decisions, and pushes them to do the unthinkable. Boa Hancock peacock risked everything for Luffy, sneaking him into Impel Down, endangering her warlord title, and during the war at Marineford, she lashes out at Smoker with unrestrained fury for even harming Luffy. She will do anything to protect him. All of this builds on one key foundation. Love in One Piece isn't just a surface level emotion, it's a force, one that can compel people to rise to the occasion, whether it's the love for family or friends that drives someone to put their life on the line, or a deeper romantic connection that strengthens one's resolve. Love is consistently portrayed as transformative. Take the dynamic between Garp and Luffy. When they reunite on Water 7, Garp punches Luffy and he feels pain, despite being made of rubber. And when a fan asked how this was possible, Oda simply responded, Garp can hurt Luffy with love. Or consider the fiery passion Sanji displays when he first uses Diable Jambe against Jabra. A fan questioned how Sanji could ignite himself without getting burned, and Oda in classic fashion answered, Sanji doesn't get burned by his own flames, because his heart burns hotter. Even Sanji's connection to his Germa lineage is rooted in love. He refers to his powers as being born from love, specifically the love of his mother, and that love shielded Sanji from the emotional detachment that plagued his siblings. He could access all his Germa powers while retaining his humanity and his compassion. Raised by a father who rejected him, and haunted by the absence of maternal love, Sanji's understanding of love is profound. His chivalry, his tendency to idolize and protect women, stem from the care shown by his sister and his mother. His mother encouraged his passion for cooking. His sister freed him from the shackles of Germa, enabling him to create his own identity. And this culminates beautifully in Egghead Island, where Sanji's strength is a direct result of all those experiences. Whether it's tanking a punch from a shark without flinching and responding, what would you know about the power of love? Or later shocking both Kizaru and Frankie by blocking a direct light laser attack to save Bonnie and boldly declaring, light doesn't hold a candle to love. And these moments are layered with meaning. They set the stage for what may be Sanji's next major power-up, a transformation rooted entirely in love. The idiom, love conquers all, suggests that love is a powerful force capable of overcoming anything, any obstacle or adversity. We've already seen Luffy and Zoro unlock advanced Conquerors Haki and Wano. In the same vein, Sanji's power of love mantra throughout Egghead Island could very well be the foreshadowing of a similar awakening, likely Conquerors Haki. Because in One Piece, like I've mentioned, love is not just an emotion, and for Sanji, more than anyone, love is power. Now that the Straw Hats have arrived in Elbaf, everything comes together. This becomes immediately apparent when Scopper Gaban interacts with Luffy, Nami, and Zoro within the remnants of King Harold's castle. Gaban introduces himself with light-hearted humor, joking about the downsides of being married to a giant, how he grows older and while she just stays the same age. As a man once called the Mountain Eater, Gaban clearly knew what he signed up for. I mean, we all know some chipmunks would climb a tree to get their nut. And in his case, he's taken up cave diving as a hobby. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. But then he delivers a powerful statement. Love is free. And that line resonates deeply, especially for Luffy, who embodies freedom, and for someone like Sanji, who embodies love. And when Gaban declares himself a preacher of love, Luffy simply laughs and says he sounds a lot like Sanji. This moment is deliberate and telling. It highlights the parallels between Scopper, Gaban, and Sanji, both passionate about love, both considered the left hand of the Pirate King, Gaban representing the past and Sanji the future. Even in flashbacks with Roger, Gaban consistently played the voice of reason, always trying to keep him grounded. This dynamic strongly parallels what we see today between Sanji and Luffy, and Oda is clearly drawing a parallel here, laying the foundation for Sanji to inherit not just Gaban's strength, but also his role, his will, and his heart. And of course his debauchery. 14 years before the current timeline, when Shanks and Gaban reconnect after nearly 4 years apart. As Shanks meets Ripley, he nearly let something slip. He starts to recall how back in his bachelor days, Gaban would shamelessly hit on practically every woman in sight whenever the crew docked at a new port. And if this isn't the most Sanji-coded behavior imaginable, I don't know what is. Not to mention, Sanji will likely inherit Gaban's adoration for giant women. I mean, he's been simping hard for Gerd ever since arriving in Elbaf. But while Gaban represents the pure strength that love can offer, Oda introduces his dark antithesis in Saint Summers, a holy knight whose power and ideology reflects the dark side of love. Summers, who possesses the briar fruit, sees love as something sadistic. He believes believes love is about hurting one another, viewing tragedies like a parent dying for their child as beautiful. He weaponizes love, holding Elbaf children hostage and forcing the parents and giants of Elbaf to make an impossible choice, to choose between their love for knowledge, peace, and prosperity, or their love for their children. And this heartbreaking decision starts to result in the destruction of Elbaf's great library and school, symbols of peace and wisdom that safeguarded the last remnants of Ohara. This library not only stood as a sanctuary of inherited knowledge, but as living proof that Ohara once existed, and now it becomes nothing more than collateral in Summer's twisted ideology. Robin's confrontation with Saint Summers is especially symbolic. She represents rose petals with her flower fruit, while Summers embodies the thorns. In their class, we witnessed a full metaphor, a rose complete with its thorns. And though Robin can't overpower him, the symbolism of her attacking with all grace and pain of a rose is clear. Love can be beautiful, but it can also be deeply wounding. Then enters Gaban, crossing all of Elbaf in mere seconds. Through a rare, powerful form of advanced Conquerors Haki, he not only overwhelms Saint Summers, but he even cancels out his regeneration ability, and their exchange reveals a history likely rooted in God Valley, suggesting this confrontation has been years in the making. Yet even with all his strength, Gaban falls victim to love being turned against him, when Gunko uses Gaban's love for his son Colin, and forces another impossible choice: save his son and sacrifice Elbaf, or stop Gunko and risk losing his child. Ultimately, Gaban gives up the fight to protect what he loves most. It's a heartbreaking decision, but one that we can all empathize with, showing us that even a man as powerful as Gaban can be undone when love becomes his weakness. And this moment reframes another father in the story, Dragon, often criticized for abandoning Luffy, but now we kind of understand why. As he once told Kuma, a child is a parent's weak spot, so Dragon's distance wasn't from a lack of love, but because of it. And as the situation worsens, with Imu taking control of Gunko and the giant warrior pirates being corrupted by Domi Reversi, Oda raises the stakes even higher. Imu reveals terrifying levels of Conquerors Haki, suggesting a threat of a divine scale, and amidst the chaos, Chopper manages to save Gaban, treating him in Elbaf's underworld. And there Gaban tells Luffy there is a way to stop the chaos, but it involves advancing his Conquerors Haki. He reveals that someone else on the crew even possesses this rare power, Sanji immediately assuming Gaban means him, only to be shocked when Gaban turns around to Zoro instead. Ironically, Zoro was unaware of his potential, making the moment even more humbling for Sanji, not just for him but also his fans. And this has sparked a widespread debate. Is Sanji cooked? Is he forever without Conquerors Haki? In my mind, not at all. This entire Elbaf arc is setting up the emotional and narrative groundwork for Sanji's Conquerors Haki awakening. Rayleigh and Scopper Gaban were both the wings of the Pirate King, both Conquerors Haki users. So if Zoro represents Rayleigh, then Sanji must mirror Gaban. Zoro and Sanji have always been rivals, ever since Little Garden when they had their hunting competition, and whenever one pulls ahead, the other pushes harder. Their rivalry doesn't just define the relationship, it fuels their growth. A perfect example comes during Egghead Island, when Sanji mocks Zoro for taking too long against Luffy and calling him a burden, and then Zoro ends the fight like 10 seconds later. Sanji's power set isn't just driven by love but also driven by competition, and as the Straw Hats move deeper into the new world, the crew's power dynamic is shifting. Jinbei is already on board, and the looming addition of Loki, a formidable fighter who already possesses Conquerors Haki, poses a real threat to Sanji's standing. And while his Haki potential is being hyped up, Sanji's own potential has been largely overlooked. That combined with his drop from second highest bounty to fourth is already a blow, and Zoro is just out there making it worse, referring Sanji to dismissively as number 4. And if Loki joins, Sanji could drop even further, from being a member of the monster trio to now 5th strongest crewmate with the 5th highest bounty. But here's what's interesting, this won't break Sanji, it will ignite him. This could be the spark, the moment that reignites his flames of passion and pride. The internal rivalry may become the driving force behind the greatest power-up Sanji has ever experienced. Now Sanji's Conquerors Haki won't awaken in the conventional sense. Unlike Luffy or Zoro, Sanji doesn't have kingly ambitions, we know this, but that doesn't disqualify him. We've never been officially told that only those with kingly ambitions can unlock this ability. It's simply just most common among those with dominant spirits. But Haki is willpower, and Sanji's strength lies in love, and that love will be the key. Imagine a moment where Robin, Nami, or even Gerd are in grave danger. Sanji's drive to protect them, to not let someone he loves die while he stands helpless, would be the perfect catalyst. In that moment, the power of love would become indistinguishable from the will of a conqueror. And when that happens, we'll finally understand what Sanji has been building towards all along, that love can conquer all.